Welcome back to Richo Hobby and Art. I'm out on scene at Lakeshore Park in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm using my new portable desk. I'm doing some plein air painting. Just kind of getting started at this point. Put that to the side. The portable desk has a ledge that pops right out, and I can use it for the book. I can also use it, take it off and put a piece of paper, 9 by 12, portrait or landscape. To do that, or put the ledge back in as I'm using right now. Open up. I have plenty of room in here for my paints. These are gouache paints here. I also have another tray that has a pencil and eraser, well, a couple water pens, and a pencil and eraser, and other things can be put in there as well. Plenty of paper towels can go in there. I have a water container for my brushes. I have a palette for mixing, and of course the paint brushes themselves, and all of this and the book fits inside. So I'm ready to take it anywhere I want to be out on site, whether that be a back porch or a park or just any place, and do some outdoor painting. Additionally, I have put these spacers in. You can see right there, this is what keeps the top in place and not moving from side to side. So get my painting back, and I'll just continue doing some painting here. Show you what I'm painting here is an image of the scene that I'm doing. I've learned a lot from watching James Gurney, the famous illustrator, and he talks a lot about different places that you can do plein air, including in a cafe, an airport terminal waiting to board your plane, behind the steering wheel of your car, or even the corner of a busy street. And I'm just sitting here in a park at a picnic table. Just a little while ago, there were lawn tractors and weed whackers being used, so I had to kind of wait until now to start. This area over on the right side, because I'm working with gouache, I'm able to kind of blend it out because of the water solubility of the material. My paper kind of wrinkling up a little bit. I didn't bring my clips, and I also didn't bring some of my better brushes, but that's what happens when you're heading out the door to go do something on a good day. This is not really about painting an excellent painting or getting a good view. It's more about just using the portable desk out on site for the first time and making sure the materials and everything works together. This area over on the right has some landscape fencing, which I'm going to choose not to include in my painting. One of the nice things about painting out anywhere, doing it sort of a impressionistic version, is to choose what you want to include and not what you want to include. Of course, you could do that in other types of paintings as well, but I like that freedom of being able to choose what I want to include. There are also some houses on the back bank that I'm not going to include because I don't have the special brush for that. I should also note the cloud cover has greatly increased since I started. So the blue of the water is no longer visible in the water. But that's part of plein air. That you get a scene and it's going to change on you as time goes by. Geese. Several of these trees were recently in bloom and are now getting their green leaves, light green leaves. So I'm kind of bringing that into this. What I'm doing here was in early April during the Dogwood Festival, which runs all through the month of April here in Knoxville. There's a lot of trees and plants, gardens that are open, especially Baxter Gardens, which is only open in the month of April, private gardens up on a ridge. And so a lot of plein air. We had the plein air festival last week, so a lot going on. I'm new here, so I'm just kind of working here at Lakeshore Park, which is a beautiful park for doing a lot of walking. I mainly come to walk, but today I'm doing some painting and getting in some of the views. Lakeshore Park is actually on the grounds of the former Lakeshore Mental Hospital, which closed in 2012, and several of the buildings were knocked down, and it was turned over to the city Parks and Rec. The conservatory building, one of the original buildings of the complex, still remains today. It stands on top of a hill and houses offices for the city Parks and Rec. But otherwise, the park has ball fields and lots of walking trails. They're building a new kind of a hill plateau for possible concerts or that sort of thing. Still not sure what that's going to be for, but there's been hints here and there what that might be. Anyway, a very beautiful park right on the Tennessee River, which is what is in my painting. The blue water you see there is part of the Tennessee River that winds its way through Knoxville. So I brought the painting back home and finished it here at home. Here's the final image. Of course, you can tell that I added the picnic tables. That was later. I added the path, these two light poles. Of course, this area where the landscape fencing was, I didn't do anything with that. Just left it blank. Because eventually the landscape fencing is going to come down, and it will be, because they've already started putting the picnic tables back. I didn't include those, but I think there's a picnic table here and there's one over here. So there just wasn't any point in putting that in my picture. And back in the distance here, there's a stone wall that's sort of along the edge of the Tennessee River. It's between the river and the bank. And I mean, I've heard different stories as to what it's used for, but I'm going to assume it keeps the river itself from swelling and flooding this area. So I assume that's what. But this dates back to when the mental hospital was there. It's not a new addition. Of course, I added more trees. I added the trunks to the trees, and I did a little bit more definition back here. The only drawback I have is when I started this painting and I did the sky first, there were just a few clouds over here. And of course, as I sat there longer, because when I arrived at the park, it was sunny and clear. And then these clouds moved in. And of course, by the time I got down here, the clouds were over. It was pretty cloudy. And that's one of the issues with plein air is, of course, your conditions can change as you stand there. And people who know what they're doing can adapt to that. I'm still new to this. So it was really hard to really put shadowing anywhere when there wasn't any light coming from any direction. So that's why you don't see a lot of shadows. But that's part of practice. Every painting is a practice for me. So we'll see what we have next time, and hope to get back out and do some more plein air.